What's up guys, Specstar here today with my first two battles for the GDS Low Tour tournament. And here I'm going to face JJ and Mayo, starting off with my JJ battle first. And he is a familiar foe. He is a known and exposed cheater who rigs impossible matchups in his favor. So we're going up against him and his bag of cheats in this matchup. And he has got himself a team consisting of Pissimian, Stakataka, the Beast, Quillfish, Celebi, Swellow, and Porygon 2. And I'm just going to do quick rundowns of my team because it's a tournament with multiple battles in the first phase, and I've got two battles in this video. So I've got an Alomomola, physically offensive, Wish, Pass, Scald. I've got Chansey, which is just typical Chansey, just fat, normal, standard Chansey with rocks. A Spec Swellow, which is modest. An Espeon, which is Calm Mind and Shattered Psyche. A Sneasel, which is Banded. And a Bruxish, which is Scarf, intended to catch Pissimian and Swellow off guard. So I just want to lead off with my Bruxish and try to catch something off guard right off the bat. And that's what I'm going to do here. He'll lead Quillfish. I'll lead Bruxish. And here I'm actually going to switch into Espeon because I'm predicting him to switch out. And it covered potential switch-ins being either the Celebi or P2. Essentially covered both. And if he did want to stay in, potentially clicking Toxic Spikes, it covered that too. So he brings in Celebi. I'm not sure if he wants to stay in. It's possible he might want to go into P2 or something. So I'm just going to go for a Calm Mind here. I'll get my boost and see what he wants to do. He's going to go for a Signal Beam. He's going to confuse me, and I'm just going to try and go for a Signal Beam of my own here, which I will, and the Celebi is going to go down. So here he's going to bring out his Swellow. And I'm actually just going to switch out into my Chansey. Didn't want to take a big hit from that. Espeon still does some important things in this matchup. He goes for a Facade, and then he gets his Burn. Basically, based on the damage, even if I know from that Facade that he's probably Jolly, and that means after his Burn, he's doing like 48 to 57 around there. It's so little that I'm content to just click Soft Boiled and see what he wants to do, plus kind of wear him down with a little bit of burning. So I will just go for my Soft Boiled here as he goes into Porygon 2. This is now my opportunity to get him my rocks, but he actually has good prep here with his Scarf Trick Porygon 2, and he gets in a Violite, so definitely a great play for him there. I'm going to go into my Sneasel on this thing to try to put some pressure on. Except he's going to be able to burn me, so I put no pressure on. I'm just going to click Knock Off as he goes into Quillfish, which will now munch this very comfortably. And I'm going to knock off his Black Sludge. So here I just want to go out into my Bruxish because I think he wouldn't want to just go for a Toxic Spike since I brought in Espeon on this thing before. He's going to burn my Bruxish, which is a little bit annoying. I will go for Psychic Fangs, and he'll be able to survive it and get his spikes up because of the burn. Here he's going to switch out and go in his P2, as I'm going to make the... I believe it, no, I just went for my Psychic Fangs here. And the thing is now a little bit weakened here, so I'm going to switch out into my Chansey, my Scarf Chansey. He's going to go for Tri-Attack. I'm just going to go for my Heal Bell here as he goes into Stakataka. I'm going to be able to get my Bruxish and my Sneasel back to a point where they can do some damage once again. I'll now bring in my Alomomola on his Staka. He goes for Gyro Ball, and Alomomola is capable of munching that up. I'm just going to go for Scald, see what he wants to do here. And he is actually going to show an interesting bit of prep with Toxic on his Stakataka, and that's going to pay off for him right there. And here he's going to want to go out into his P2, and I'm just going to actually throw off a Toxic, predicting this thing to come in. and Porygon 2 is now poison, which makes it a little bit easier to deal with. But it does have the regen, which is pretty annoying. I'll go ahead and my Chansey here. I'm able to get the Heal Bell off for my Alomomola to make it a more reliable answer to stack and also help me wear that thing down a little bit. He has done the Stacka. I'm going to Heal Bell up. And I'm going to go into my Alomomola again as he just goes for his Stealth Rock, which is pretty annoying for me to deal with at this point. I could have went into Espeon there, but I didn't want to make anything too risky. I didn't want to make any too risky plays like that with Espeon, which is still nice in this matchup. I'm going to Scald him. He'll Toxic me, and then I'm going to make the hard play out into my Chansey, predicting him to go into P2. And we could redo this cycle, but the thing's weakened. I wanted to keep it low, keep the Porygon 2 weakened. I'm just going to throw off some S-Tosses. He doesn't switch into S-Toss too well either, and I'm just not going to give it the opportunity to recover all the way back up. So I'll keep clicking S-Toss, and he recovers up. He will eventually go on to Passimian. I'm going to toss that thing, do some alright damage, but I do not deal with this Pokemon too well. I'm going to go to my Alomomola because I had regen to kind of scout what he wanted to lock into. He'll U-turn out and then he'll go into his P2. He's going to trace my regen again, and I just want to go for a Toxic on this thing with my Alo. And he actually seemingly scouts for that with his Quill play, so good for him there. I'm not going to be able to Toxic the P2, and he'll get some regen on that. So he's going to bring out Swellow here, and this thing is pretty threatening at this point. I just want to sack off my Chansey, and then here I'm going to do something a little bit stupid actually. I'm not proud of this play I made here. I went into Sneasel and I clicked it pretty quickly, and basically I just forgot that Quick Attack is the thing that this Pokemon would run, because I'm a believer that the only real Swellow is Spec Swellow. So I'm going to have a little quick mental lapse here and make a stupid play into my Sneasel, and I'll lose my Sneasel here as he goes for Quick Attack. So here I'm going to have to go into my Scarf Bruxish to be able to revenge the thing, and I'm just going to go for Psychic Fangs here. He goes down to his P2, and he's going to be able to take this, but not too well. He's down to 40 now. I'm going to switch out to my Espeon here. I wanted to be able to put some pressure on this Pokemon, try to get in range of the rest of my offensive mons. I'm going to Calm Mayan here first as he goes for Tri Attack. And now I'm just going to fire off my Shattered Psyche, see if he wants to let me throw it off on that. He makes a good play scouting for it into his Stacka, and now he's able to bring in his Passimian on this, which he will do, and he's going to U-turn out, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he will. And now he wants to bring in his P2. Or actually goes into Swellow first. Right. So I'm going to have to go out into my Aloe here, which can take one hit from this. And I'm just going to fire off my Scald. He'll go for a Facade. We're going to be able to take that, and Scald will put in range of Burn. So now, basically, the big threat for us is going to be that Passimian. He'll bring it out now. I just have to sack my Aloe here to bring in Bruxish. Bruxish is too walled by Porygon 2 here for it to really be worth saving. So he's going to take us down with the CC there. I'm going to go on my Alomomola, and basically my only chance here is just to kind of hope Aloe took the hit and be able to revenge it or get some kind of crit with Scald or something, but that's not how it's going to work. And he's going to bring in P2 just to get Simian fresh in case this thing was Quick Attack. But I'm just going to fire off the Boom Burst, and I'll get another one, and then Passimian's going to be able to revenge us, and he's going to be able to win the game 1-0. So, not the ideal start I wanted to have, of course, but He prepped well, he made a few good plays, and he deserved a win here. And I'm going to start off 1-0, or 0-1, subtract 1, and he'll start off 1-0 plus 1. This means that I have a tremendous amount of pressure to win my last 2 games, or else I'll be in a pretty crappy position. So I'm going to move on here to my game with Mayo, which is a must-win for me. And I've got myself a team very similar to the last one, except I got Hitmonchan over Bruxish. And I've got an Alamomola, physically defensive knockoff, Chansey, which is going to be Rocks and T-Wave, Swellow is going to be Scarf, Espeon, it's going to be Scarf, special attacking, I should clarify. Espeon is going to be Twinkle Tackle for Pokemon that did not come, so it's basically just kind of a wasted move that can hit a few things a little bit harder than Psychic. Sneasel is going to be Banded. Hitmonchan is also going to be banded with dual priority and 3 fighting type moves, because everything that fighting didn't hit, I just wanted Bullet Punch to hit. So here I just want to lead off with my Swellow in case he wanted to lead off with his. I could potentially kind of bait him into letting me go for my Scarf Boom Burst. And he's going to lead off with Emboar. Now I'm thinking that he is just going to want to switch this out. He doesn't know what I am. Even if he's Scarfed, he's not faster than a max speed Swellow, which I am on top of the Scarf. So I think he's definitely going to switch out here, probably into Metang. And basically based on that, I'm going to go for a U-turn here. He is in a Metang, I'm going to go for a U-turn. I'm going to want to bring in my Espeon here since I have Shadow Ball and it prevents this thing from getting up rocks. I'll go right for my Shadow Ball. He's going to go into Slant Slash. It's going to be just a little bit out of range of my Twinkle Tackle, so I'm going to go for Psychic since I know my Z-move is going to reduce knockoff damage. He does go for knockoff, but I am living that, and I'm just able to finish this thing off with another Psychic. So we're going to have a quick 6-5 start here. Then he's going to bring in a Swellow. Definitely don't want to let my Espeon go down right now. I'm going to go into Chansey, see what he is. He goes for a Brave Bird, takes a good amount of recoil, and then he's going to show to be Flame Orb, just like we faced in the last matchup. And just like the last matchup, I'm going to Scout, go for a quick Soft Boiled, see what he wants to do. And of course he's just clicking Facade. I'm going to go into Alamomola, which I know can wall this thing. Facade's going to do a healthy amount considering this is an Alamomola, but I just want to be able to wish up on this thing and kind of stall it out. Goes for Facade again. Here I'm just going to go ahead and click my Protect and get my health back freely. I'm getting this thing worn down a little bit. Or so I thought, as he goes for a Roost here, and that Roost was just very solid prep on the part of our opponent. A good way to help it deal with this thing. And I'm now in a position where I need to switch out because Alamomola is not going to win this in the long run against this Pokemon. First, I'm just going to knock it off because I want to be able to force this thing to go for Roost as I switch out. And my thought process here is I want to go to Hitmonchan because it's a win-win. If he does Roost, I do get the free switch in on the thing. And if he does go for a Facade, he's going to be weakened down and definitely in range of my priority. So I will go into my Hitmonchan just a way. I needed to get this thing low. I needed to get this thing pressured. He's going to go for a Roost, and I just want to go for my Mach Punch to get approximately 70% of damage off on this. And unfortunately, I'm going to get the crit. And Mach Punch into Brave Bird recoil would have taken the thing down, but he of course would have had the added benefit of also taking my Hitmonchan down here with. So it's just completely unfortunate that I'm going to get the crit, which didn't matter. I was doing something like 64 to 75 or around that ballpark with my Mach Punch. So definitely unfortunate that I'm going to be able to crit him here. But, you know, that's Pokemon. He's going to bring out his Gardevoir, knowing that we're banded now. It's now an Iron Fist threatening Gardevoir. I'm just going to go into my Chansey, see what he wants to do. Take almost any hit with that from that thing comfortably. I'm just going to want to get on my rocks here because I thought my rocks were a really big priority for me. and Gardevoir does let me soft boiled up later. He goes into Emboar, he goes for a wild charge, and I know he's adamant banded based on that damage, so I'm just going to protect just to get my health a little bit better up before I regen. And here I just want to go out into my Hitmonchan, which takes one and kind of pressures him out. So my thought process here is that Emboar is his answer to Chansey, and he would want to preserve this thing. He knows I'm banded, he knows that the most logical move for me to click here is probably Mach Punch. So I'm actually going to make an aggressive play and predict him to go into Gardevoir, predicting that, and click Bullet Punch. But he makes the correct play to stay in with his Emboar, predicting me potentially to just click my Bullet Punch there, or double or something. I'm going to bring in my Swellow here, and I'm just going to go ahead and click my Boom Burst as he goes out into Metang. It's going to do no damage at all, and he's going to actually be able to pursue me for almost no damage as I switch out. I'll get to bring in my Espeon here, and he goes for Bullet Punch. I just wanted to click Morning Sun to get my health back, make this thing a little bit more useful down the long haul. And I'm just going to click my Morning Sun again here as he switches out into Emboar. I know he's banded, so I know I'm faster, and I'm just able to click Psychic, but he has the Sucker Punch and he goes for it there, so good play on him. I'm going to go into my Sneasel here, which just puts the most pressure on his team as I click my Knockoff. Metang is going to drop to that, and it will also lose its Eviolite. He's going to bring in his Gardevoir here, of course, screaming that he's clicking Moonblast and his Scarf. I'm going to go into my Chansey, and he actually goes for the Focus Blast, and if he's timid, that was a max roll. If not, probably just a medium modest roll, which is very likely probably what it was. I'm going to bring in my Alomomola just because he can allow me to knock it off, since that would allow Sneasel to win. I'm going to knock off Emboar's Band here, and that lets me be able to wall this thing, which I otherwise could not do. He's going to Wild Charge me, and I'm just going to want to wish my health back up to full. He will charge, I will wish, and he goes down here. He's going to want to bring in his Gardevoir, I believe, or Dojo, I think. No, he went into Dojo, right, because he couldn't let Gardevoir get knocked. So here he goes for Swords Dance, and I just want to click Toxic to make sure I can get this thing for sure in range of my Ice Shard, which is a priority for me. Like through any bullshit, any Yachi, anything like that. And I'm just going to protect here as he goes for Brave Bird. I ran my Calcs, no matter what he is, I'm able to take a Brave Bird from this thing, so I'm just going to Wish Up again, get this thing really weakened, low-end, and he is going to Brave Bird and do very little, because Alomomola is just a monster, and it can't come back in with rocks, so I'm going to protect up, and he's actually Roost again on this thing, so definitely seeing a theme with his team. It's smart prep because it makes his bulkier mon, or his more offensive mons, more annoying for my bulkier mons to deal with. And here it's down to Gardevoir versus the World. I'm just going to protect up to get my health back, of course, not risking a crit or nothing. And he's just going to go for Moonblast. And I just want to click Knockoff on this thing. And he goes for Moonblast. Fortunately, we're taking that. I'm going to knock him off. And that is going to be the win for Sneasel here. And here I'm just going to go ahead and click my Knockoff again. He clicks Moonblast, and now it's Sneasel's time to come in and just safely click Knockoff. It's definitely in range, and we're going to be able to win this game 2-0 and move on to 1-1+1. So, the start going to be 1-1+1. Not exactly what I was hoping for, but not the end of the world. I've got one matchup left, and it's, you never want to sound too confident because anything can happen in Pokemon, but it was out of the sorry guys, it was out of the 3 matchups I had the one that was the least scary to me. But any given Sunday, So I'm gonna still give that matchup my all and try to move on to 2-1, which would put me in a position to move on to the next round, most likely. So that's gonna be it for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a good night.